Hey everybody, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed my video clip. If you missed it, it's going to be on my page. You just scroll down, it's right there for you to enjoy. I'll also be posting it later up on YouTube, but you here on Facebook have been my biggest and most loyal following, so you guys get it first. How about that? So thank you very, very much. Just as a reminder why I'm here, why I'm even doing this. This week is my comedy anniversary, and it was actually on the 31st. The last day of Women's Month is the day. Actually, the exact day that I got on stage was March 31st, 1992. Oh my word! I don't know where the time went. And honestly, I usually don't really do anything special for my anniversary. The most special thing that happened for me on my anniversary was actually a couple of years ago. Eric Vetter and crew put together, a show for me at QED here in Queens, and put my favorite comics on the show, and I guess I kind of closed it out, and it was a lovely evening. I got presents, and there was cake, and a declaration, which I have here from the city of New York, from the mayor's office, that it's like, that's this. Like, I leave it up because it's like, so it's beautiful and unexpected thing to receive for my anniversary a few years ago. Hi to everybody who's watching. I'm trying to keep up with all the comments while I'm talking to you. And if you noticed, when I introed my live session before the video, I was not wearing a tiara. And yes, everybody, this is a tiara. This is my crown. Because I figured, why not? Why not? If we're going to do this, let's do this. And matter of fact, I got this, in case you're wondering, Dragon Con. Because where else does a girl pick up a tiara now that one can't go to Claire's? Anyway, so yes, it is my thank you everybody for chiming in with all the, I'm loving this, I'm trying to wave and talk and watch everything that's gone. It's a little distracting because I have this camera, I have this timer over here telling me what's going on. I have my main screen. I feel like I am in the control of the mothership right now. Happy birthday. It's not my birthday. Well, I guess it's my comedy birthday, and I wanted to spend it with you guys. Since we can't get out, we do this virtually and digitally now. And like I said, I was going to cancel, because everything in the world feels so incredibly heavy. And that's probably exactly the reason why I should still do this. Jacqueline, she messaged me earlier. She's like, there's no canceling. We had an appointment. You scheduled. So I'm like, okay, woman of my word, I am right here. Oh, thank you, Sora, for saying I'm beautiful. Listen, let me tell you, you guys were the reason I showered. I found a nice dress. I am wearing a dress. I'm not wearing heels, though, because just to go from the bedroom to here, that seemed a little extra. I dug out what's left of my Claire's makeup, found my... Find it. I know exactly where it is. My tiaras are always on hand. Yes, I have more than one. When I do this tomorrow for IG, I'll be wearing a different tiara, because why not? Before the end of the world, why not? Like I've said before, just because it's the end of the world does not mean you have to look like it. So since I knew I was going to be with you guys tonight, I kind of dressed it up a little bit so that we could have a little fun. And if nothing else, I'm easy on the eyes this evening, not looking all... Just get up in the morning. Oh, thank you, JD. Thank you so much. Hey, Soros. Thank you guys for tuning in. So again, this is, I'll name the year. I'll name it. Again, I started in 92 doing stand-up comedy for 28 years. That's a person. That's several people. That's many people. And I don't know where the time went. Julie, thank you so much. She made a lovely anniversary gift donation, and at some point I'll put my information in here in case you guys want to know, because I'm not shy now about saying that if you have enjoyed my work, you enjoy my videos, my memes, the things that I do, I am indeed accepting contributions to help me keep doing this, at least until unemployment kicks in. If But yeah, I started this 28 years ago, and interestingly enough, if for anybody, any comedy buffs that are out there, 92 was the absolute worst year to start comedy, kind of like 2020. But 1992 was a terrible year to start comedy because that was the year of the comedy bust. You know, before then, comedy had been going like gangbusters. You know, people were making tons of money, and then the bottom fell out. You know, I don't know if it was cable TV. You know, people say that's kind of what killed comedy back then. But you kind of don't decide when you fall in love. You're like, no, it's not a good time. You don't pick that. And 92 is kind of when I got bit. You know, I had been, if you guys go back with me that far in my life, you know that I had a corporate job. I worked in corporate communications at a multinational financial services firm, and I hated it. I hated it from day one. But understand, my major back it was journalism and creative writing, and my minor, very close to being a double major, a few credits shy. I always regretted that. Was theater, and so. Sorry, just waving at folks. I want to acknowledge people who are here. Michael, thank you. Yeah, over proliferation of comedy killed comedy. It's one of the things that killed comedy. But yeah, I got bit, and when I left college, I went into a corporate job, and I talk about this in my book. I have a copy of it around here somewhere. Real Women Do It Standing Up. It's one of the opening essays in the book. I talk about how I took a corporate job because I thought I had to. You know, how could I do 4 years of college and then tell my parents I wanted to go do something artsy? I felt like I had to get a real job, so I got a real job, and I absolutely hated it, and I hated it for 5 years. But somewhere around year 3, I finally realized nobody was just going to swoop in and rescue me out of my cubicle. That if I wanted to do something different, I had to figure out what that was. And so I went on this journey of several things. One of the things that some people don't know this about me, hey guys, I'm waving. Thank you for watching. I had applied for and been accepted to City University, City College's MFA Creative Writing Program. And I got accepted. And again, I'm at my heart, at my start, I've always been a writer, and I, used to write poems, terrible poems. They were so awful, and short stories and fiction, and lots of satire. And so I thought this was right up my alley. But at the same time that I got accepted to, City College's Master's Creative Writing Program, I started stand-up. And I started deferring my admission. I think I deferred for about 2 semesters, maybe 3, and I finally said, no, I gotta do this. I gotta do stand-up. And again, if you know me, I'm so type A. Thank you for loving my crown. Very type A person. And so I figured if I wanted to do something new, well, there had to be a book. There had to be a class. That's how we learn. That's how I learned. And I did take a class. My first class, actually first and subsequent classes, were at the comic strip. I have to give a huge shout out. He was not my first teacher, but in my heart, he was my best teacher. Rob Weinstein. A lot of graduates out of his group still doing it, still performing. He was a wonderful, passionate teacher. He gave me such a foundation that I've continued to share with people. And so I took my very first class at the comic strip, and it was an 8-week class. And around week, 5 or 6, I was like, you know what, this is fine. I don't need to really go any further. I don't need to get on stage. And my teacher said, why don't you go see a live show? And believe it or not, I hadn't really seen a lot of live, like in comedy club shows. I went to events, but not a comedy club. So I went to a comedy club show, and it was terrible. And my ego jumped up and was like, you could do better than that. That's how it gets all of us. That's how it gets all of us. Our egos just get in the way. And so I came back. I was like, yeah, I could do this. So at the end of the 8 weeks was our graduation class. That was the March 31st, 1992. And I remember standing in the back where, I guess you can call it our green room, you know, where the sound system was, you know, where everybody entered to go on stage. And it was about, I don't know, it was after 10 o'clock. And the MC comes up to me and he says, you're next. And I said, no, I'm not. I was losing my nerve. I couldn't, you know, like, no. And he goes, yeah, you're next. And it was, I want to say probably around the 10:30 area where he introduced me, and there was still audience there. And I went on and I did my first joke and people laughed. And I forgot everything else I wanted to say because I was so not used to people laughing. I mean, I know people, other comics say this all the time, but at the time I had a dog and I would practice my jokes on her. So I was stunned that people laughed out loud in a cohesive group. And it took me a second to sort of get myself together, and I did. And I honestly don't really remember what jokes I did that night. I just remember that people laughed. I remember that I've never felt more at home. You know, I stepped on stage and I was like, oh, like that was my safe space, my comfort, my safety zone. I'm like, oh, this feels good. So, you know, I got off stage and I did not invite a lot of people. Thankfully, I didn't have to back then. And my parents were there. My parents were there in the audience. And two of my friends. One of my friends who would tell me I was wonderful even if I wasn't. Another friend who would tell me straight up, girl, that was horrible. So I figured I should have both of them, you know, just to balance it out. And they both told me that I did a great job. And I probably didn't. It was probably okay. But to have both of them sort of co-sign that it was a good start. It was an auspicious beginning. And I continued. And honestly, I've been performing from that day. I never looked back. Now, I didn't quit my job right away. I kept my job. You know, you have to finance the dream. And by the way, I didn't say this before, not before here, but I've said it in other interviews. I highly recommend having a job you hate to inspire you to do what you want to do. And I hated my job so much that it pushed me to discover what I really wanted and what was important to me. And when I found stand-up, it just lit me on fire. You know, it really did. The other thing that also lit that fire was in the process of trying to discover what do I want to do, how do I get out of this corporate job. There was and I write about this in the book as well, there was a brand new show that was happening called Def Comedy Jam. And the gentleman I was dating at the time, some of you know me long enough to know who that is, great guy, he took me, he got tickets and he took me, and we were sitting in the balcony. And I think that was my first time seeing like a real like spectacle live theater show, you know, as a grown-up. And I'm sitting in the balcony and Michael Collier came out on stage. And I didn't know who he was. He was just one of the comics on the show. And I'm going to say this, you got to be 45 and over to get this joke. And I'm going to, you know, do it pretty badly. I'm just paraphrasing. But he did this joke about Timex. He was talking about how he was watching TV and he saw the Rodney King beating. And he got mad. And he called his agent. And he said, how come I wasn't up for that Timex commercial? That pause I just did, he did that. He just waited. He waited for the audience to make the connection to their very popular commercial at the time for Timex, takes a lickin' and keeps on ticking. And his poise, his smooth, his patience, when he just put that joke out there and he waited for the audience to get it. And that feeling, to be in the audience, to feel that wave of recognition happen, and then that laughter, that expulsion, that recognition, that joy. I remember sitting in the audience at that moment and I'm like, I want to do that. And I did. What was startling to me was several years later, and it felt like not that much later, but it was. I think I got invited, I think it was 1996, that I got invited to audition for the show for Def Comedy All-Star Jam, and I was a little confused because as much as I watched the show, as much as it was, you know, very iconic and very important in its time, it still is, for comedy and for black comics, you know, we didn't have anything like that. But it was a very specific show. It was a label. There was the Def Jam comic, and I wasn't that. I was more of a HBO had another show at the time. Was it HBO or was it Showtime? I'm not sure now. But the show was called Comic Justice, which was hosted by AJ Jamal, and that show was a little bit more, you know, smart comedy, a little bit more highbrow, which is probably why it didn't last. But that's the show I set my sights on. Like, that show is me, but that show didn't last. Waving at folks who have tuned in for my live stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me for my little anniversary party. And I completely forgot. We were supposed to have music. I like set this up and then forgot to do it. I went and found playlists from the 90s, since the 90s is when I started. Turn that down, but yes, there's music in the background. Yes, I'm wearing a tiara, one of my many. Anyway, I lost my place. No, so I got invited to audition for the show for Def Jam, and I'm like, have you seen me? Like, have we met? Like, I'm flattered, but I don't fit the show. And they said, no, we've seen you. We want you to audition. And they told me, they said, we're trying to do something a little different. I've always been considered a little different. You know, when I did the Apollo Comedy Club, Apollo Comedy Hour, I'm like, once again, have you seen me? Like, thank you for the invite, but what are we doing? They said, yeah, again, you're a little different. And what I discovered is that they told me they were looking for something a little different. They neglected to tell the audience. So, you know, back then I was always a surprise. You know, when I should have, nobody was expecting me. So I was so young and so arrogant. I don't know if arrogant's the right word, but I was just so, you know, oh, you don't know me? Well, you fitting to know me. I went to my audition. The audition was at Caroline's. Now, please understand, back in the day, the auditions were usually in New Jersey. I'm trying to remember the name of the place. And I've probably blocked it out on purpose because that spot in Jersey would eat comics for breakfast. Like, you thought you were funny, you thought you had dreams, that's what people went to have their dreams killed. I mean, it was just a really, really, really hard environment to do comedy. And I was never a Chitlin Circuit comic, both in style and temperament, and I was never really made to feel welcome there. So why would I go? But anyway, that was Peppermint Lounge. Oh my gosh, it just popped in my head. Peppermint Lounge was where they did the auditions, usually did the auditions for Def Jam. This time around for Def Comedy All-Star Jam, they were doing the auditions at Caroline's. And so me being young and arrogant and like, this is who I am, my entire set was political. You know, contextually, you know, very topical, current events, political comedy. And I got off stage, like, in my head I was like, so there. Now I know you're not going to book me. And Bob Sumner The talent coordinator, booker at the time, said, "Thank you very much. We'd like you to do the show." I was like, "What? Are you serious? What?" And that's how I got to do Def Comedy Jam. Somebody asked me how come I didn't attend Def Jam 25. You can't attend something you weren't invited to. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I wasn't invited. I understand they invited me to do the show initially. Again, they were doing something different. Something different isn't what made the tour. There were tours for Def Jam. I wasn't on them. That was for the TV show. And listen, I'm not upset about it didn't fit. I was the square peg in the round hole, and that worked for TV. Well, it almost didn't work for TV. That was a hard ass set to do. I was terrified. And I was sick. I had like a fever. I had over 102-degree fever, and I had been traveling. I actually had to fly back home. I was performing in Las Vegas, and the show was taping in New York. I had to fly back home where I lived. I mean, I should have been here anyway, but I wasn't. So I had to fly home to do the show, and I was sick as a dog. Scared out of my mind, because I'm like, this isn't my audience. Like, if you remember the show, the kids were in the front row, like, they were on stage, and they would dance after the last comic. So they weren't there for the comedy. They were there for their moment to dance. And so I get on stage in my little light-skinned political dropping knowledge and science, trying to be a cute Paul Mooney. They were like, who's this chick? And two things happened that I did not know. I was told this later. Somebody thought that this was the Apollo, and they were like trying to boo me. Go imagine. Thanks, people. And somebody very quickly suggested, "Yo, dude, shut the fuck up. I want to hear her." Like, that just made my heart leap when I heard that. And then at the end, when I walked off stage, and again, I did not see this, I was told this. Mark Curry and we had just met that night, so he didn't know me. And so as I was walking off the stage, we passed, and he's looking at me like, who, what? And he came back on with like the Black Power salute, like, yes. And I was, when I didn't see it. I was told this, and it just really made my heart sing, to get that kind of dap from, an OG. What am I saying? At this point, I'm an OG. But yeah, at the time, I was a newbie. I was a baby girl back then. So my Def Jam experience was really different and really odd. And no, I would not have fit on the tour. I know that. And so I wasn't like in that circle. And so I didn't even know they were doing the Def Jam 25. I didn't even know a clip of me was on the show until my phone blew up that night. I don't watch comedy. I know that sounds weird. I don't watch comedy. So I didn't even know they were doing a special. I didn't even know it was on. Just suddenly my phone started exploding with everybody going, "Girl, I see you on Netflix." I'm like, what? Is there some chick that looks like me on Netflix? Because there's chicks like me in commercials all the time. And I get phone calls, "Hey, Leighann, I love your commercial." Not me. So I'm remembering this. One of the first people to text me that night to tell me that he saw me on Def Comedy Jam, the anniversary on Netflix, was my really good friend Angelo Lozada, who he passed this past December. And we weren't road dogs, but we were in the business around the same amount of time. We started around the same time, and so we were in each other's orbit, and just a wonderful, wonderful human being. And when you were doing something good or something positive, he was one of the first people to go, "Hey, I see you, Ma." And that is definitely something that I'm gonna miss about him. I'm so thrilled that so many of you guys are here. I'm gonna take this opportunity to wave at folks. Thank you, Ali. Thank you for that. Excuse me. I might turn on the heat to warm up the room. And now let me just slip over and turn that off. Whoo, and I managed to do it without waking a cat. He's in here with me. I don't know for how long. I don't know if anything I'm doing to interest him. I don't know if he's going to put in an appearance on the video, on the live stream. He told me before that, yeah, he was a maybe. So I'm not counting on him to be present. Thank you, Vanetta. Happy birthday. Happy comedy birthday. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Just talking about, you know, the business, how I got started, how Def Jam was with inspiration, and then being invited on the show. Oh, so actually my cat, so this is my little home office right here, and I set up a little pillow for him on top of my file cabinets, well, actually on top of my laptop, because he was sleeping on my laptop, and I'm like, you can't do that. So I put a little pillow there, because he likes to hop up, and during the day, he likes to look out the window, sort of patrol the neighborhood, you know, make sure, you know, we're not being gentrified too much. Yes, you would love to see Sir. So, well, Sir is napping. Should he wake up? Because I'm not gonna wake him. Because sometimes he wakes up and he gets like the attack of the zoomies, and he starts running, and we're not gonna have that right now. This is my moment. And speaking of my moment, I hope you guys are comfortable and relaxed in your homes or wherever it is you shacking up. But toast. Yes, this is just a little bit about this glass. This is my Erma Bombeck Writers Workshop glass, a wine glass. They do commemorative wine glasses every conference on the opening night. And actually, would have been opening weekend for my fourth conference, I think, third or fourth conference. That was supposed to go on this weekend. They do it every 2 years, and of course, because of, you know, the ends of the world, they postponed it. It's one of the few things I'm doing that's been postponed. Almost everything that I was on my calendar has been canceled, which is really scary and horrifying, because, you know, it's work. Even though the Erma Bombeck Writers Workshop is not something one does for heavy remuneration. It's really the opportunity to get together with other women writers and creators, and it's a family, it's a sisterhood. There's some guys there too, some brave men, and you get to meet with writers and publishers, and it's a wonderful, wonderful event. And I'm sorry that I'm not there this weekend, but I am happy to be here with you guys, and I do have my Erma Bombeck Writers Workshop glass, and I'm going to take a sip on my own behalf. Yay! Erma glass. Yes, yes, thank you, Angela. What is that? You have your glass at the ready. Thank you. Yes, and for those of you who say, you know, this is the pandemic, this is real serious, we need something more than wine, I got you. A little bourbon. So everything's got, oh, and for those of you who are like, ooh, it's past my bedtime, I got some coffee. So see, I'm my own bartender. I had to set all my stuff up. And should a cat make an appearance, got a little something for him too. I'm just a mama bear for him and for me. Cheers, Julie. Thank you so much. I see a couple of cheerses back there that I missed. Freddie, cheers. I was like, Freddie, hey, yeah, isn't this awesome? Our reunion got canceled this year. I got a terrible letter in the mail inviting me to my high school reunion. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not ready, because that would have necessitated me going to the gym. Gym shut down, reunion shut down. I'm eating carbs. That's what I'm doing. Thank you for loving the crown. Just to let you guys know, it's like a little like tiara crown thing set up at Dragon Con. You can get amazing things at Dragon Con. Yes, you can get a dragon at Dragon Con. And for those of you who don't know what Dragon Con is, it's like it's Comic-Con on steroids, and I've been going for the last 5 years. This would have been year 6. Yes, Chandra, I am prepared, and bottle of water. Yes, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm in here for the long haul, because I knew I wasn't going to get up for nothing. That's what happens when you live alone and you have a cat with no opposable thumbs. Yes, Star Trek necklace, so my nerd cred is on 10. But yeah, Dragon Con is like, it's really the mother of Comic-Con, and it's just nerd nirvana, and it happens every year down in Atlanta. Labor Day weekend, so it's always my birthday weekend, which is always fun. And I don't know if they made an announcement this year, but I don't know if there's going to be a Dragon Con. We don't know what the world is going to look like. And that was one of the events that I looked forward to all year. I got to go and be a nerd, like just big tent nerdy, like every kind of nerdy you want to be, you can be. You know, it's comic books, it's fantasy, it's anime, it's video games, it's all of it. You could have really intense conversations about the minute differences between the various Star Trek series and why it's superior to Star Wars. Fight me. I'm sorry, it's all sci-fi, big love. Yeah, Mike, I recommend going to Dragon Con if there is a Dragon Con. And I don't know if they really don't. I just don't know if it's happening this year. I mean, I know that I was already invited, and they accepted me, and I'm an invited guest or whatever, but that was before the end of the world. So I think it should still happen, and we should all cosplay in hazmat suits. That would be freaking awesome. And I wasn't wearing my insignia in the Caroline's video. I know. I probably did have this necklace then. I've had this necklace time. It was a gift from someone who really appreciates my nerdiness. When I've been going back and editing videos, I'm actually surprised at how many of them I'm wearing this necklace. You would think I don't own anything else. I do. I have many necklaces, but this one is just like, that's my heart. You know, I would say bury me with it, but I want to burn. Well, I don't want to burn, but you know what I mean. Toss it on my ashes. That would be awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. A Fan X Con in Salt Lake City in September. Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of cons, you know, and I didn't know that until I went to my first one. Well, my first Dragon Con, my first, oh heavens, my first Star Trek convention was here in New York City with my mom. I've talked about this before. My mom was my original Trekkie. She's who brought me into the nerd world. So yeah, that was my first group nerd experience, and she got me my first costume, Lieutenant Aurora, of course. Yeah, so that's that. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is me celebrating my comedy anniversary, 28 years. Started on March 31st, 1992, and was still doing it up until March 1st. You know, I know this coronavirus, this pandemic, this thing that's happening has been devastating for a lot of people, but to make it very personal and very specific, stand-up comedy. I mean, I know we're all hustling, you know, we're all trying to figure out, well, what do I do now? How do I turn this corner? You know, I started for myself doing my, you know, working from home comedy club. And somebody asked me, they said, well, what's it like to tell jokes without an audience? And I said, it's kind of like when I first started and I was doing open mics. There was no audience there, nobody laughing. The only difference now is that my sense of timing is pretty much ingrained. I mean, I understand how timing works, and so I can do those pauses and pretend that there's laughter there. And actually, I don't have to pretend because the voices in my head have come back full strength, and they are there for me. Matter of fact, they're kind of gloating about it. They were like, yeah, we told you you'd be back. You need us. Quit therapy. So yeah, doing comedy without an audience. If you're from hardcore back in the day, running, doing open mics, doing late night, audience, I don't need no freaking audience. We imagine the laughter. But it is different. You know, it really is a different experience. I don't know if comedy, the way I knew it, comedy clubs or live comedy, the way I knew it will come back. And I wonder if what it turns to will be something that I am flexible enough to adjust to. These are real concerns. I mean, I just happen to be voicing them, but I gotta tell you, folks in my industry, you know, my colleagues, man, I'm worried about us. because not that, what you do validates, but when you've built a career, when you're used to going out and entertaining, used to being useful and entertaining, that hard stop, it's difficult. It's really difficult. So the money is part of it, but not feeling useful, not feeling that what you do doesn't matter anymore. That's a real hitch in the giddy up. It's hard, and so I'm not exempting myself. I'm struggling as well. I put on the tiara and the good lipstick, and the ear cuffs. Yes, I did. And clean underwear matching. Yes, very proud. I want credit. But I do that to, feel good, and still participate and, keep putting one foot in front of the other. But what does that one foot in front of the other in terms of comedy look like next week or next month or towards the end of the year? How does one survive? I've been really fortunate my entire career. Hey, Just Miller, I see you. Another supportive comic. Definitely. Thank you for being here. Yeah, there are people that were smart enough to do other things. They got, parallel careers. I didn't really do that. Stand-up was my big love. And I'm fortunate to do that. Now, I shouldn't completely undersell it. I have transferable skills that I have transferred. I also do corporate training. I've written books. Once again, those are two: authorship and corporate training. If you're not the designer, I was the freelancer that would get hired. Also unstable. So I just love picking where there's no stability whatsoever. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I was young, and I just wanted to follow my heart and follow my dream. And I had two old folks who said, yeah, that's my parents. I didn't need their permission, but I sure thrived on their support. That's for sure. Thank you for the happy comedy anniversary. I'm getting happy comedy anniversaries and happy birthdays. I'll take both. I will take all the good feelings and well wishes that you guys care to share. Very much appreciate it. Thank you, Jess, for you popped out. You're back in. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's scary times right now. People are asking me, what am I doing? Someone had, I think it was Elise one of my friends here on Facebook said, hey, how are you guys getting through the days? And that's a hard question for me, because I'm a workaholic, a recovering workaholic, control freak, perfectionist. And so my safe spot, my safe space where I feel comfortable is when I'm working, whether it's outside my home or inside. And so if I'm writing, if I'm editing video, if I'm meme writing, if I'm, working on a book, which I am, it's the People with Parents book, I'm working on that. I do have several projects going on. It's just hard to not have stand-up as one of those things that I'm doing. But sometimes it's hard to keep that energy up, especially if you start your day with the news. And it's like, yeah, we were wrong about the masks. Knows. Yeah, we were wrong about it. I can't. Here's my compromise. Here's what I do in terms of being informed but sane. Although my sanity has always been in question. Come on, let's be real. But not going overboard. I will watch Governor Cuomo's briefings. I will listen to Democracy Now!, which always makes me feel like marching in the streets every day, everywhere, for everything. So I have to manage my Democracy Now! Intake, because it's all ending, I do that, and then I stop. And I have to, when I'm home, well, I'm always home now, but finding that balance between, okay, what project, what am I working on, what am I doing, and when do I need to take a mental health break? Because if I'm not watching that, I'm down the rabbit hole. And any number of things can send me down the rabbit hole. It could be the news of what's happening. It could be how I'm feeling. It could be my fear for the future. Tons of fear, career-wise, family-wise. You know, it's just me and my mom now. Thankfully, she has no idea what's going on. You know, if there's a positive to that. But I'm the one that's got to make sure that she's okay. You know, so I'm the one that's keeping the lights on and the food in the refrigerator and, you know, all of that. And I've been doing that for a while. It just feels different now. You know, it feels heavier now. Thank you. I'm loving the compliments, you guys. Thank you so much. Yes, blue. Thank you for loving me in royal blue. This is, you know, one of the colors of my sorority, and I pulled this out of my closet. I was like, you know what? I'm going to look nice tonight. Why not? You know, me and the cat. The cat's gonna appreciate it. Hey, Nikki, thank you so much. Yeah, I love democracy now. Amy, I listen and I feel informed about stuff I didn't want to know. I didn't really want to know that, but I'm glad I know it. I need something to drink. You know, because I feel like they give you the real, that you're not gonna get on, you know, corporate media, corporate TV. Yes. Watching the news is incredibly tough, but there is a part of me, unfortunately, at this stage of my adulthood that has an obligation to be, you know, at least minimally informed. So I really do try to watch my sources of information. You know, New York One, I cannot live without my New York One, and it's my Pat Kiernan thing. It's like, what? Hey, Canadian boy, how you doing? Yeah, what's in the papers, son? I want to know. I love him. I love watching the papers. I love that they've extended their morning show, even though it's on loop. That there is a comfort to watching a team that you like and you're comfortable with. I guess they figured that out. So I like my my New York One, so I get that real local vibe. I watch Governor Cuomo because he's straight up. And here's what's funny. It's like, we're still fucked up. She's bad, but he doesn't sugarcoat it, and he tries to be somewhat compassionate, you know, with his little rough self, and I appreciate that. It is way more informative than these White House Rose Garden. I'm not even gonna call it a press briefing. I don't know what it is. It's like a commercial for all of his friends. Like, you know what? I'm not even gonna go political tonight, but it's like, I'm just telling you, I get the little notifications on my phone. Oh, the White House press briefing is starting. Click. I'm not watching that. I don't want to be lied to. Okay, any more than I already have. I want to be lied to. I'd be dating somebody right now. Okay, we not like that, sir. So I don't watch those. I just wait to see what people argue about afterwards. You know, I get the clips. I find out. People, you know, I'm not in a bubble. So I find out what's happening, you know, but I'm like, I don't want to sit through it. I don't want to sit through being lied to by a narcissistic man who most likely has the beginning stages of Alzheimer's and no soul. I don't wanna, and I'm not gonna do it, you know. Now, when Fauci's talking, I'm there. Where's Science Man? Where's Dr. Science Man, who's gonna tell me what's what? Like, all of his subtext is like, what that motherfucker said, that's not true. The way he's able to do that, I'm like, oh, sir, hats off, tiara off. Like, he's just, I love it. Oh my goodness, hey, Ann, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Sora Katrina, hey, Sora Yoli, hey, how you doing, honey? Big hug to you. I know it's been a tough year for you. You know, I didn't think it could get worse than 2019, but 2020 is just, 2020 is a beast. Somebody said that, I love this, the White House press briefing is the Ministry of Truth from 1984. Very nice. Well done. Oh, I cannot believe the times that we are living in. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I hate being the adult on duty while this is happening. Now, oddly enough, to turn this back to comedy, you can't, listen, this guy is a clown. You know, it's like, it's almost hard to make fun of this stuff, but the need for humor has never been more important. I talked about this. I did an interview, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? We were talking about comedy and the importance of it. And the fact that during these times, this is really heavy stuff that we're dealing with. And en masse, whether consciously or subconsciously, turn to entertainment. Not necessarily to escape, there is a little escapism there, but to self-soothe and to take a break, which I think you have a responsibility to do. As much as you have a responsibility to be somewhat informed and prepared, you also have a responsibility to protect yourself, your mental health, your state of mind. I call it my equanimity. And so if that's Netflix, okay, and I understand folks are watching some show called Tiger King. I'm like, I've heard mixed reviews. I'm not doing that. I'm watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine. That's what I'm doing. And again, another show from the 90s and 2000s. I missed a lot of those episodes, so it's been really a treat to go, oh my gosh, I've never seen that one. So it's almost like the first time for me. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm really enjoying watching shows where people are competent in fixing problems and coming together for the common good. I'm like, oh, I know it's only happening in fiction, but it's happening somewhere, and that makes me feel better. I put a little pause. I put a little pause on my Star Trek Deep Space Nine to watch hard, because CBS All Access got smart and they said, hey, y'all want to watch some stuff for free? And everybody went, yeah. So I got in there, and I got all comfortable, and I blew through all those episodes in a day and a half. So I'm gonna go back in a week and rewatch them. But in the meantime, I'm rewatching Star Trek Discovery. Oh yeah, hey, I see you, Freddie. Yes, there's my Vulcan hands on. It took me forever to learn how to do that. Like, I really had to work on it for a while. Like, I was showing up to Star Trek conventions and I couldn't do this. I couldn't do it right. I was getting handicapped parking at Star Trek convention. It was just terrible. So yeah, no, I really feel like I couldn't go wrong with a classic. And here's what's funny. DS9, well, for y'all who are not Star Trek fans, don't know what we're talking about. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. The acronym for that is DS9. The reason why I loved it initially, well, it's Star Trek, and second was Avery Brooks. How you not gonna love Avery Brooks? Yeah, he can still get it. I don't care if he's 1,000 years old. He can still get it. Because I remember him from Spencer for Hire, A Man Called Hawk, and I got to see him live on Broadway, or slightly off Broadway. He did his one-man show of Paul Robeson, and just a magnificent talent, and so easy on the eyes. Like, oh, sir, if you're ready for your second marriage, I am here for you. But I loved me some Avery Brooks, so that's, again, one of the reasons why I love, Deep Space Nine. But actually watching the shows, they're really good. And I'm not saying every episode is a 10, but it's a damn good show. It is right up there with Star Trek The Next Generation. Hawk, yes, A Man Called Hawk. Avery Brooks, the voice, that voice. Oh, yes, love it. Hey, Mike Rody for chiming in. Yeah, it's so funny. I'm a straight white dude, and I got a thing for Avery Brooks, too. Like, who doesn't? Maria, thank you for saying I look gorgeous and I don't age. I do. On the inside. I am Harriet Tubman. I'm tired. I am so tired. I had to take a nap for my own show, okay? Yeah, so I've been watching Deep Space Nine and enjoying it. Took a break, and I watched Picard. And I think I posted this. Within the first 3 minutes. It was like 2 minutes and 35 seconds. I'm bawling. I am in tears. And I'm like, I'm not going to make it through the rest of the series if it's going to be like that. So luckily, because I cried everything now, I have a box of tissues right next to me. Both on my couch and my comfy chair. So I was just ready for those tearful moments. But they were good. Just to watch the old man, tread the boards. I was impressed by him and everybody on the show. Yes, it's a very, thank you, Nell, for tuning in and watching. Thank you, and thank you for saying I look fabulous. Hi, Mike from Connecticut. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, Avery Brooks was so hot. Even as an old man, I think he's hot. But somebody said, wait, I'm going to log back. I can see this. More human with Jake. That's an interesting comment. I guess maybe he's the only, I'm only putting this together right now. He's the only captain to have a kid. Right? Like working like a single dad. Like all the rest of them were like, yeah, this is my career is my life, I'm doing that. He had a child. And after Wolf 359, the attack of the Borg, Locutus, whole backstory, whatever, he ends up being a single dad. And watching the relationship, I'm going to put this in the comments for those of you who've been asking. Hold on, for those of you asking. Boom. So yeah, watching him be a father, you know, and those tender moments were just beautiful. Like this is fatherhood. You know, this is like, that father-son relationship was just so beautiful to watch, you know, and as he grew and watching him struggle with letting his son be an adult. I mean, it was just, all of it was beautiful. All of it was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. Yes, those personal and professional challenges. Yeah, but it really just occurred to me that he's the only captain to be a father. Now, other people were parents. Clearly, Data had a daughter. Lol. I'm going to demonstrate my geek knowledge, and then people are going to stop watching because they were like, Leighann, we didn't tune in for you to geek out. And I'm like, yeah, you did. You know who I am. You know what you going to get. I'm wearing my Star Trek necklace now. Come on. Actually, okay, Shelly, I see you. You said that you love that Raffi called him JL. It was a different kind of respect. I actually hated it. Didn't like the feel of it. It didn't feel right. Now, I liked their relationship. I didn't like JL. That's like, we trying too hard. Now, maybe if she had just called him Jean-Luc or something, but the JL kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It's not horrible. It wasn't a deal breaker. I still watched it, you know, and to see their relationship, to see how many times he dropped the ball. Like, here's somebody that worked hard, you know, generally an ethical, well thought of human being, and he messed up several times, and there were repercussions. So the great man is human. Humanity. Like, my humanity is my least favorite part of me. I would rather be a Vulcan. Ugh, feelings. I hate the feelings, and I have a hard time. Thank you, lovely crown. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I it's not that I have a thing for tiaras, but you know, why not? Why not break one out for a special occasion? And this is a special occasion. This week represented my 28th year of doing stand-up comedy. This weekend I would have been at one of my favorite events. It happens every 2 years, the Erma Bombeck Writers Workshop. I grew up reading Erma Bombeck. So did my mom. We were together, and as I started writing, I've always been a writer, but as I started writing, you know, funny little stories, my first blog was called The Urban Erma, because I went away on a women's retreat, and everybody was sharing their talent, and they thought I would do stand-up, and I said, can I do something different? And they said, sure. And I said, can I read you something that I wrote? And everybody was like, sure. And I read it, and I don't even remember which essay it was. I think it was about how I had a glitter explosion in my dryer. Like, I watched something that had glitter, and now there was glitter on everything, and now people thought I was a stripper. I think that was the story. And they're laughing their asses off. And they were like, wow, you're like the urban Erma Bombeck. And like, that name just resonated. And so that was a blog and then a podcast that I did for many years. And I think that's what brought me to the attention of the Erma Bombeck Writers Workshop. And I'm grateful because we've been, I've been going to their events now, I think, oh wow, 8 years now, because they have their events every 2 years. Whenever they have the writers, they have a humor writers writing contest. I've been a judge twice for that. They brought me in to teach one of the stand-up comedy classes. I did that 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago. They brought me in to do I was their keynote speaker, which was so much pressure. You know, I should post the link for that. I'm gonna post that this weekend. They asked me to speak, and I said, "What do you want me to talk about?" And they said, "Talk about anything." And I'm like, "There's nothing worse for a workaholic, perfectionist, control freak than being told you can do anything you want. I need guidelines. I need guidance. Like, what am I doing?" But they trusted me, and I wrote and did, I think, one of the best keynote speeches I have ever done. You know, it was about writing and love and destination and my parents, and about how we have loads of time until we don't. And you never know when you don't. So procrastination doesn't help us artistically. Hey, you have the credentials to be a stripper. I do not. No, listen, my ladies are okay. Like, they're good team players. They're not the star of the team. They're the team, but they show up to play. So I appreciate that. And right now, nobody's on my team. It's just me and my cat, which is inexplicable to me. I've been doing online dating. You guys have seen some of the stuff I've posted. These dudes are not ready. These dudes are not ready, you guys. Do you do your own makeup? Yes, I do. Yes, I do my own makeup. And I have to tell you, I didn't grow up putting on makeup. Like, lip gloss was it. Like, yes, here's my little chapstick. This is all I was working at. You know, mixing a little Kool-Aid to give some color. That's it. That's all I had. And so I wasn't that girl that thrived on makeup and heels and none of that. I was smart and a bit of a tomboy. And then when I graduated and I was doing acting, going out for commercials and whatnot, I wasn't wearing makeup. And the other actors are like, "What are you doing?" Like, you can't do that. And I thought you only did makeup for when you actually got booked for something or you're doing a photo shoot. And I realized I didn't know what to do. And so I reached out to a friend of mine, a sorority sister, my best friend, one of my best friends. She also passed away last year. 2019 was such a bitch. But my girl, Tracy, this girl, listen, if Sephora ran out of something, they could have called my girl Tracy. Like, this girl had a makeup kit that was a makeup trunk. Like, her job was being a tour guide. She was an international tour guide. But she was so good at makeup and color and fashion. And so I went to her and I said, "Can you teach me how to put on makeup?" And she was like, "Hold my beer." Like that. She lived for that. And so, you know, she opened up her bag of magic and like started showing me about foundation and concealer. And I had to write things down. But it was practice. It was definitely practice. And then, you know, going into Sephora, and you can't do that now, but should things ever get back to normal, Sephora has free classes. They will teach you how to do stuff. And at least at the Sephora in the city where I would go, they would teach you, they would have different, you know, how to get rid of the under eye bags, how to do that, how to do your lip, how to do your, you know, that eyelash thing, that, you know, mascara thing. And they weren't trying to sell me products, which I really appreciated. They were like, "Here's how you do it. If you want it, cool. If not, nice seeing you." So I was like, of course I want that. Put that in the basket. Because I appreciate not getting the hard sell. That's actually how you get me. Don't give me the hard sell and then I want to buy it. So I've learned things over time. So without the makeup, I'm Gollum from Lord of the Rings right now because life is very draining. So thank you for appreciating makeup. Oh, I can't do anybody's makeup. I can do me. I got me. You know, I got a little makeup kit. I Sephora. I used to go to Sephora. You can still order. They're doing free shipping until the 4th. Why do I know that? I use Fenty. I'm Rihanna all day, every day. Okay, I'm not trying to upset the Beehive. The Beehive is fine, but I'm Team Ree all day. Okay, her makeup is just, oh, and it smells good. What? Now I'm probably getting all kinds of tumors, but when I die, I'm gonna look hella good. That's all I'm saying. Well, I can kidnap you. Can you kidnap Prince Harry for your? He's gonna be what? I don't know all that. I'm missing that. I don't need somebody else's prince. I just need mine. I'm not greedy. You know, I'm not about big love. Just one will do fine. My precious. Yes, that's exactly what I look like when I wake up in the morning. Yeah, I don't even know how my cat stands me, but he's there every morning with his little good morning nose boop. Hey boy, you awake? I saw you. Saw you straight. Are you paying? Oh, all right. His Majesty does not want to be disturbed. Yeah, you don't want angry cat in here. But yeah, so I'm so excited that you guys, I know some of you are still left celebrating my anniversary. We've been here for almost an hour. I'm willing to go a little bit longer if you are, because I know some of you guys have just tuned in. Hey, Sora, Lisa, I see you, my line sister. Again, the whole premise of this was me celebrating my comedy anniversary, and I have no idea what I'm going to be doing next. Well, that's not true. That's not true. I have some, I've been doing my, what do you call it? Working from home comedy club, which is weird, but you know, whatever makes people happy, and it allows me to continue to be creative. Someone was messaging me earlier today. They were like, I'm writing, but I don't know how to write topical material. I'm trying to, I'm like, it's a muscle, like anything else. You just keep writing. And I write every day. It's not always comedy, but I put pen to paper or finger to keypad every day. It's just a little exercise for me just to keep it fresh, and that's why I like doing the working from home comedy club, because I get to put that set together, and get jokes out that are topical and new, and I feel like I'm doing something. But I also do another thing every day. You guys might have seen it. It's a little series I started by accident. Called Lighthearted History. Katrina, you supposed to be working. Okay, you on break, girl. You on break right now. You need a note for your supervisor, because you on break. This is a good break for you. Now I do a thing every day called Lighthearted History. I get an email from a company called On This Day. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. And they give you everything that happened in history. Now, I started being bothered that everything that happened in history was really man-centered, really war-centered. It's like, hey, what are women doing? Anybody ask what women were doing? And so that's initially the impetus that got me writing about it. And so I just started writing. I'll pick something from that day and then give the crazy thing that couldn't possibly have happened. But it's fun, and it exercises, again, my comedy brain. So again, it gives me something to do. Oh, your boss is crazy. How unusual. I'm my own boss. I'm crazy. Like, I'm the worst person to work for. I would quit. I don't really like working for me. I'm such a bitch. I overwork myself. I underpay myself. And I don't get enough breaks. What's really cool is I get to drink on the job. Cheers, everybody. Total cheers. Thank you for being here. So I'm doing my working from home comedy club. People have been really cool about sending me, and I don't, listen, if you don't have it, this is not a demand. But I do appreciate those people that have reached out and supported me. They've sent me a PayPal, or they've sent me a Venmo or a Cash App. That's how young folks do it. Young folks Cash App. And it's been really soothing, and it's buoyed my spirits that people feel that way about my art, my craft, and what I've contributed and how I've made people feel. And I appreciate that. I don't know what color my lipstick is. I can tell you it's MAC. I do Fenty for my face, Fenty, Bare Minerals, and then my lipstick is MAC. That's the only lipstick I use. Yeah, I know, it's $15 a stick. But let me tell you something. I'm that chick that gets in there with the brush. So by the time I turn that back in, it is empty. Okay, I am getting my money's worth. I've had lipstick I've had for 3-4 years. They're not getting a partial unused thing. So I really get in there. Oh really? Hey Rosie, my neighbor says she loves the history spots. Perhaps a book of them? Okay, quiet as it's kept. I feel like that's how I am writing a book about it. I'm writing a book a little bit every day. Because every day I post something. After 365 days, that's a book. That's how you write a book, everyone. That's how I write books. When I was doing dick jokes, I would post a dick joke every day. I would post a word and its alternate definition. I did that every day for a couple of years. And then I'm like, oh, I have a book. Matter of fact, I have two. One is physical. You can actually get the physical book. Like I keep saying I have it around here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Hold on, you guys. Oh, dick jokes. You can get the physical book from me. I used to sell them at my shows, but I actually do autograph them and mail them out. And you can also get volume 1 and volume 2 on Amazon. This book, Real Women Do It Standing Up, I talked about this earlier. This book is kind of like my Urban Erma essays. I would do an essay, I want to say, once a week for several years. And after a few years, guess what? I had a book. So if this worked for me, I'm not saying it works for you, but the discipline of, doing that can bear fruit for you. And it has for me. I have I have 3 of these, and then I've done several ebooks. There are different outlets for your creativity that can then be monetized. And this isn't, that kind of event, but that's what I've been able to do for myself. So yes, by the end of the year, if the pandemic don't take me out, I will have a book for lighthearted history and be able to put that together. That's how I'm doing my People with Parents book. I've done 30 podcasts, in the exception of 1 or 2, have all been transcribed. I write all of those. That's a book. So there are ways to put your creativity to use. Great book, loved it. Thank you so much for that. I'm just trying to, how do I make use of my time? What do I do and how do I do it? I'm just trying to get from sunup to sundown. I really, especially now that we're not going out. But again, if there are comics that are on this stream, I know that there are. And if you're worried and if you're scared, all of us are. And you have to start looking at your skill set and going, how can I transfer these skills? What else do I know how to do and do it well? Before this all happened, I started emceeing. I got invited to MC conferences. And listen, if you could MC the late show at a comedy club where folks ain't listening, they're drunk, they're making out, you can MC a conference. Now, it's a little different. It's not exactly the same. But if you consider that most times when conferences hire an MC, they're not funny. They don't know how to cover breaks. They don't know how to cover problems. And that's all MCs at comedy clubs do. You do a nice introduction for your next speaker. You cover any problems that happen and you make it seem seamless. And because you're funny and because you've done it for years, that's a transferable skill. And that's something I began doing. Another transferable skill, I taught myself how to podcast. That's back when I started doing my blog, The Urban Erma. I was writing that for a very long time. And then I said, well, what's this podcasting thing? That's how long I've been doing this. What's this podcasting thing? I started doing research. I taught myself how to do it. And I ended up having 2 separate audiences. I had an audience that read my blog, and then I had audiences that only listened to the podcast. there was some overlap, but they were actually two completely different things, which was quite a revelatory lesson for me. Bringing that forward, I got the opportunity. I was a co-host on Star Talk with Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. That was an opportunity that raised my cachet just a little bit, and people began to know me, at least in the science, nerdy, secular world. And hey, good night, Marie, thank you so much. UK, good night. And so that brings me to, I did say I was going to make a couple of announcements before I go, because we've hit the little over an hour mark. So I will say that you guys have helped me celebrate my anniversary very well. You know, we can't be out, but we can be in here, and I do appreciate it. And so just a couple of quick announcements. They haven't made their official announcement yet, but you know, paperwork has been done and I've done interviews. I am one of the new co-hosts for Point of Inquiry. If you are familiar with an organization called the Center for Inquiry, I emceed their conference, SciCon, last year. I've performed for them over the years in various places, and they have a podcast, and it's called Point of Inquiry, and they interview critical thinkers, scientists, just really, amazing people who are very well known both in the skeptical movement and it just at large. Neil deGrasse Tyson, of course, was one of the folks. And so, long story short, it's a lot of history here, and I'm just jumping over it. But they asked me to come in and pick up co-hosting duties, and with some talking and some reservations and some clarifying, and the fact that, hey, it's an opportunity to do what I do and talk to some amazing people, I took the job. So my first episode debuts on April 9th, and I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that I'm a good addition and that people will enjoy my interview style, because I really feel like it's a conversation and letting people shine and just having fun. And so I'm from the George Carlin School. If you could get people laughing and educated at the same time, then that's a win. And my personal brand is always enlightenment and entertainment, so this was a good fit. So that's a yay for me, and all the craziness going on. That's a celebration for me. And the second thing is, even though it's not up yet, I did a DVD back in 2008 called I'm Not Urban, I'm Urbane. And we repackaged it. We are re-releasing it. It is going to be on Amazon in a couple of weeks. So there will be a DVD version and an Amazon Prime streaming version, and an album version, which will be available on iTunes. And I don't have the date for that yet, but it's exciting to re-release it. Now, caveat, I recorded that back in 2008. So things were very different. It was an election year though, so it was kind of fun and wistful to listen to jokes I did about Obama. Like, what? It's like, oh, I miss having a president that spoke in full sentences. Oh, miss that. But it was also interesting to go back and hear jokes that I forgot, jokes that I don't do anymore, jokes that I still do, but do them better, and hear stuff that I go, oh wow, I wanna bring that back, So it's nostalgic. It's definitely a nostalgia release, album, live stream, whatever we're calling it, But I will of course re-announce it and let folks know when I'm not urban, I'm urbane. And yes, I'm not gonna tell you. You're gonna have to look up Urbane. And when you look it up, you're gonna be like, yeah, that's her. But yeah, that was my DVD from back in 2008. And again, that's just one of the ways that I'm trying to pivot. And what do I do now that I'm staying home? So yeah, those are two good things that are happening for me, or I'm trying to make happen. And it's trying to find that silver lining so that it's not all terrible. Because I gotta tell you guys, when I'm not wearing the blue, when I'm not wearing the makeup, when I'm not wearing the tiara, sometimes I'm just curled up on my couch like, what the hell? Because this is hard, and it's particularly hard doing it by myself, but because the cat is wonderful, but he don't reconcile, he don't balance no checkbook. Matter of fact, he's killing my checkbook. This cat has been sick a couple of times, and it's like, whoo, I can't afford you, son. I'm gonna need a kitten. Let me check on him. Hey, boo. Hey. Yeah, he is so knocked out sleep. You know what? When he's gonna wake up? He's gonna wake up when I'm ready to go to bed, and he's gonna be like, "It's playtime." Actually, he's gonna be like, "It's showtime at the Apollo," and I'm gonna want to kill a cat. So if y'all get a text or y'all see me pop on and do another live, probably around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, it's gonna be about come and get this cat. So you guys, I am getting ready to wrap it up. This has been I don't know what I expected this to be, and like I said, I almost wanted to cancel it, because everything, that slog from Monday to Friday is just like an entire week. Every Tuesday I get to Tuesday and go, how is it only Tuesday? Because everything just feels so heavy, and there was just so much bad news, personally, from other people. I felt maybe this was a little frivolous to do, but maybe we have to balance the seriousness of the world with a little frivolity. And so I came here, and because I still wanted to celebrate and acknowledge 28 years as a Black woman in stand-up comedy. That ain't no easy road, y'all. It really, really isn't. I speak with my other sisters in the business, and it's like, this business wasn't built for us. It really wasn't. So to be here for so long, and mind you, I am nowhere near where I thought I would be. My retirement plan was to be famous. Yeah, I fucked up. I thought I would be rich and famous and just so many other things. So there's so many places where I feel like I didn't make the mark. I didn't get to where I wanted to be. I'm not dead yet, Give it time. I'm in the center of the pandemic. Give it time. But there's still, I like to think there's still room, but ageism is a thing, even though, good makeup, good lighting, does it? But I'm gonna keep doing my thing, because I don't know how to do anything else but to do my thing and to do it to the best of my ability. And I want to thank you guys for helping me do that, to not just celebrating tonight, but for all the love and support that so many of you have given me over the years and continue to do. And I don't take that lightly at all. People, you could give your support and time anywhere, to spend it with me, spend your time with me, to lend me your support, to talk me up, to share my links, to like my posts, and most most currently to let me know monetarily, when y'all hit me up on PayPal, when you hit me up on Venmo going, hey, thank you for making me laugh today. Thank you for, lightening the moment. Thank you for making, my day brighter. That means a lot. It really does. So, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you missed the video, the watch party earlier, the video is still there. Just scroll on down. It is right there. It's that 5-minute clip that I did at Caroline's on Broadway for the New York Women in Communication. They were having an event, and I headlined their show, and it was so wonderful. That's actually, my set that night was 12 minutes, but I'm like, let me just condense this down. It was a wonderful night, and thank you, everybody, and for the congratulations and the well wishes. And I'm going to find another reason to be back here next week. I don't go live every day because I kind of like going live in my own life. you know, being here, being, you know, now, and trying to take care of business and make sure that I'm right. So y'all saw that manicure, right? That's messed up. But everybody, please, as best as you can, stay safe, stay sane. Good night.